I'd like to welcome everybody to our city meeting tonight, and I would appreciate if you could turn off your cell phones or silence them or something like that during the meeting, and just want to remind everybody that our meetings are televised and available for viewing every day on Channel 2 at 6 p.m. at midnight and also on YouTube. And to kick it off, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a silent prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start tonight with some proclamations here.
That's what we did last year, right?
She's on her way. Do you think we could do one of the other ones?
I was thinking about asking you that, yeah. If you're coming out, all right, well, you guys will be last. All right, no problem at all.
We got enough here. Three for me.
And we will move over to the National Family Literacy Day. All right. Ladies. All right. City of Leavenworth, Kansas. Whereas National Family Literacy Day, established by the 103rd Congress in 1994 and now marking its 30th anniversary on November 1st, 2024, highlights the importance of reading and learning for the entire family and emphasizes the impact that parents have on their child's learning. And whereas this day is celebrated across America each year and focuses on special activities and events that showcase the importance of family literacy programs that empower families and build a nation of readers, and whereas literacy programs across the United States will observe National Family Literacy Day by holding readathons, book drives, workshops, and family activities at schools, libraries, and communities centers, and to encourage literacy. And whereas as many as 1 in 6 adults struggle with reading and writing, and by learning to read, individuals can gain self-respect and confidence and strive toward goals that otherwise would not be achievable. And whereas the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution is a nonprofit, non-political, volunteer women's service organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for children and adults. And whereas education being one of the cornerstones of the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution, Captain Jesse Leavenworth chapter is committed in increasing literacy by promoting and supporting literacy programs. Now, therefore, I, Griff Martin, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim November National Family Literacy Day. November 1st, 2024, National Family Literacy Day. I need to work on that myself.
Just thank you for your support.
All right. Thank you so much. Right here as well? Okay, perfect. This is great. This will be for the National American Indian Heritage Month. Whereas the history and culture of our great nation have been significantly influenced by American Indians and indigenous peoples, and whereas the contributions of American Indians have enhanced the freedom, prosperity, and greatness of America today, and whereas their customs and traditions are respected and celebrated as part of a rich legacy throughout the United States, and whereas Native Americans Awareness Week began in 1976, and recognition was expanded by Congress and approved by President George Bush in August 1990, designating the month of November as National American Indian Heritage Month. And whereas in honor of National American Indian Heritage Month, community celebrations as well as numerous cultural, artistic, educational, and historical activities have been planned. Now, therefore, I, Griff Martin, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim November 2024 as National American Indian Heritage Month. All right. course. Appreciate it.
This is a shirt for you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, I need reading glasses tonight. Okay, World Polio Day, City of Leavenworth, Kansas. Whereas Rotary International, founded on February 23rd, 1905 in Chicago, Illinois, USA, is the world's first and one of the largest nonprofit service organizations. And whereas Rotary is a global network consisting of over 1.4 million members in more than 46,000 clubs in 221 countries and geographical areas who unite as neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers to take action to create lasting change in communities across the globe. And whereas the Rotary motto, service above self, inspires members to provide humanitarian service, follow high ethical standards, and promote goodwill and peace in the world. And whereas Rotary in 1985 launched Polio Plus, and in 1988 helped establish the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which today includes the World Health Organization, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, to immunize the children of the world against polio. And whereas polio cases have dropped by 99.9% since 1988, and the world stands on the threshold of eradicating the disease. And whereas to date, Rotary has contributed more than US $2.6 billion in countless volunteer hours to protect nearly 3 billion children in 122 countries. And whereas Rotary is working to raise an additional $50 million per year, which would be leveraged for maximum impact by an additional $100 million annually from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And whereas these efforts are providing much needed operational support, medical staff, laboratory equipment, and educational materials for health workers and parents. And whereas in addition, Rotary has played a major role in decisions by donor governments to contribute more than $10 billion to the effort. And whereas there are 73 members of the Rotary Club of Leavenworth who sponsor service projects to address such critical issues as poverty, disease, hunger, illiteracy, and the environment in our local community and abroad. And whereas Leavenworth Rotarians have committed their time, talent, and treasure to continue support of Polio Plus until polio is finally eradicated from the earth. Now therefore, I, Griff Martin, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim October 24th, 2024 as World Polio Day.
Could you get Mike and Ed in the picture? And then could you take a picture?
Mike's
Ed is a Rotarian. Ed with two E's.
Okay.
Oh, and how about Isaac? Do we want Isaac?
Oh, he's just fine in his front seat.
How's that? Am I? No.
Cheese.
Thank you very much. I don't want to say anything.
Yours? You're good? All right.
We hope you
I wish.
I hope you can join us Thursday. Okay. Thank you so much, Jeff.
The efforts since 1988 have almost eradicated polio from the face of the earth. A generation ago, thousands of Americans, and worldwide, you've heard those statistics. There's only 2 countries that are as live polio today. The hill country of Afghanistan and Pakistan, because the warlords will not let volunteers and medical personnel give vaccines. So we're so proud of what our Rotary Club has done to do this, particularly those ladies you see right back there, longtime givers of their own funds. And thanks for your time, Mayor.
Okay. Moving on to old business, consideration of previous meeting minutes from October 8th, 2024, regular meeting. If there are no questions, just need a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of October 8th, 2024.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 4-0. New business public comment. Sarah, do we have anybody?
Yes, we have several. First up is Mr. Gene Kirby.
All right.
Remind them, it's 2 to 3 minutes.
Yep, thank you. Yep, if we could keep our comments at 2 or 3 minutes tonight, if you could please state your name and address, would be
I
great.
got a timekeeper back there.
All right.
Gene Kirby, 604 Beth Lance. I'm here this evening to thank the city for allowing us to continue with our flower bed in Cody Park. We go back to 2005, I believe, with Steve, and we worked extensively with them on the design and the location. They were great to work with. They really were. They kept us informed all along through the process. We were formerly known as the Compassionate Friends, which is a support group for people who have lost a child. We got out of that a few years ago, but we've continued to maintain the flower bed. We have volunteered literally hundreds of hours at no cost to the city. And we think it's a project worth having. What's a park without a flower bed? So I just want to say thank you for letting us continue to do our part to make the city look great. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work, too.
All right, up next is Mr. Kyle Forbes.
Hello, my name is Kyle Forbes, 1934 Potawatomi Street. We were here about a month ago discussing the issues that we're having with our neighbors behind our house. Last time Mr. Kitchen sent a sergeant out to the house. They were in, they had a breach of privacy with the cameras that they had pointing directly at us. They took them down. The very next day, they put them back up, but they're playing the gray area where they just point it down the fence line. Everything wide angle, they can still see into our yard. And then she has 3 cameras set up along the perimeter. And according to this ordinance, local ordinance 3.12, A4 or A3, installing or using outside or inside a private place any device for hearing, recording, amplifying, or broadcasting sounds originating in such place, which sounds would not ordinarily be audible or comprehensible without the use of such device, without consent of the person entitled to the privacy therein. I still think they're in violation of that ordinance there because they can hear and pick up audio on the fence line in my backyard. This isn't public, this is private. The other thing that we have are nuisance ordinances. We've tried to come down to City Hall and they say they have nothing that they can, put forward to enforce. It's all BS, they're not doing their jobs, I don't think. Because I've come up with at least 4 or 5 different ordinances that could possibly be enforced on this. So with the first one, they got all these cameras put up on PVC pipes, sewer pipes, gutter downspouts, 2x4s. So this is a section, so this is under nuisance ordinance number A235, section 28-2, B2, accumulation of garbage, rubbish, trash, refuse, junk, and other abandoned materials, metals, lumber, other things which create an unsightly appearance. The other issue that we're having is she killed all her grass in her backyard. She's got nothing but dirt. Well, now she takes a leaf blower and she blows the dirt according to the wind. So we have witnesses. My wife has it on video. My neighbors have it on video. And with that, I'm going to say this may qualify for it, I don't know. So that's still under 28-2, number 11, dense smoke, noxious fumes, gas, soot, or cinders in unreasonable quantities. She is intentionally harassing us, okay?
Mr. Forbes, I don't want to interrupt you too much or anything, but it sounds like there's several items you've got there, and I'd kind of like to track all those to make sure, I'd like to talk to city staff and kind of see where everything is at, what the issue is with the.
Okay, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
So, harassment. What constitutes harassment in Kansas? It's a knowing and intentional course of conduct directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, torments, or terrorizes the person and serves no legitimate purpose. That's what's going on. And she's mentally ill. There's something wrong with her. Somebody needs to step in. Somebody needs to go evaluate this woman and get her the help she needs. And I would love to sit down with anybody who would love to sit down with me and go over all this stuff and really kind of get her the help she needs, get all these things taken care of, because it's not only affecting me and my wife, it's affecting my neighbors as well. So now you'll hear from them that she's doing the same thing to them that she's doing to us. And we need something to happen.
No, I appreciate your comments.
Appreciate
Mr.
you.
Forbes.
All right, next up is Mr. Matthew Chin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Matthew Chin. I live at 1931 Ottawa. I'm just here to also add to the kind of problems we're going through in my neighborhood. My grandparents have lived there for 31 years, and we've been trying really hard to be neighborly and everything like that, but starting in June, they had already been having problems with the same exact neighbors, but starting in June, a lot of stuff started where they got these motion sensors, and it triggers off of our yard, and it triggers a very loud siren. I have footage of them playing dog whistles and stuff like that. Like, the only dogs they're supposed to be able to hear, but they're holding it up to our fence. They zip tied stuff to our fence and put a big tarp up, and we can see through it kind of thing. Well, they have put on PVC pipes big cameras up pointing into our yard. They watch for whenever we come out of the house, so they bring their dogs out, and their dogs are aggressive and bark at our dogs. The lady that lives there has sprayed my sisters with water. I unfortunately don't have proof of that, but I have a lot of other proof that they're antagonizing and purposely harassing us. We tried to avoid conflict and go out in the front yard with the dogs and stuff like that. They come out to the front yard. I'd be willing to show anybody proof. I've had 3 officers there in the last week, and 2 of them were very familiar with her due to other problems that they've had with, like I said, our neighbors and stuff like that. And we just want more comfort and peace and unity within our neighborhood, because, you know, we care about it, and, you know, it's very hard whenever somebody's intentionally doing things to get under your skin or threaten or harass you or anything like that. So it's pretty much all I really got right now.
What about the video of the siren?
Yeah, I do have multiple videos of sirens and noises, different things. Whenever the police come around the corner, or if anybody pulls up to the house, they will move stuff, but they have many of them, and they do it intentionally, and it is ear piercing. I mean, imagine trying to sit out on your back porch with your family, and you're hearing just terrible noises, you know? So.
So, yeah. So we can continue on with public comment, but go ahead, sir. We'll let you finish.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying, I do have stuff if anybody would want me to play that, but I can also wait, you know, I don't know. I haven't been to one of these things before, so I don't really know if I should.
Well, I appreciate that, yeah. And maybe before we move on, Sarah, Mr. Kitchens, if we could maybe do an internal staff report just to get a little bit more, I don't want to say anything out of turn, but I do appreciate it. I like to encourage folks, hey, if you feel like you're not making headway somewhere, to reach out and make it known a little bit more.
It's more about like our community. We're trying to, you know.
No, totally
make
understand.
Better.
Okay,
So,
thank you for your comments.
thank you very much.
And last signed up is Mr. Roger Osborne.
My name is Roger W. Osborne. I live in 1931 Ottawa. And I'm same as my grandson and the man behind me was. As soon as I go out the back door, they got a camera on the gutters pointed right at my deck. Said, open the door. So they let the dogs out. I can't have grandkids come over. Their dogs don't do nothing. It's next to the people, whatever, see all that. You can't even go out front or anything. And my grandson showed you when you get time, whatever, we got video of all this stuff. You can't even enjoy yourself. I even go out front and sit on a bench. And there would have got the tarp or whatever, they just started this year lately. Sit on a bench and come there, I got my back turned to them and all that. Let the dogs out, and then they just stand there waiting, want me to say something. I just stand there and just shake my head. They got send the kids out, which the woman's daughter comes out, it's on the camera. Going down the fence line with stuff. They got these here like Halloween whistle things, whatever. She's out there, you can't. I went outside 9:45 last night, smoked a cigarette and stuff. As soon as that door opens, stuff starts. You can't even sit out there, smoke a cigarette, do nothing. Grandkids, nobody come over, got to sit and listen, all the stuff.
A lot of surveillance.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing the concerns up, all of you, for coming tonight. Follow up, yep, thank you very much, okay. Anyone else? Okay. From then, we'll just move on to general items. Item 3, mayor's appointment. I, Mayor Martin, move to appoint to Library Board Robert Jason Redmond to a term ending April 30th, 2028. That's it.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded.
Question,
Go
is
ahead.
Mr. Redmond available? Is he here?
No.
Okay.
I have a question too. Why are we not, we have 2 applications from women who have been serving, and they're serving now, to continue, and they're highly qualified. And why are we not supporting their applications? They put their applications in a long time ago, back in April.
Yeah, no, and I think that's definitely a fair question, Commissioner Bowder. First of all, this is nothing against anybody that's serving right now on the library board. As mayor, it's, part of my duty is to make appointments on who I feel like would be a good choice.
How do you know?
for
Have you
the
been to
board.
any meetings?
So I could get into more of that.
I think we
Commissioner
should get
Bowder?
into it right now.
Well, I don't want
Have you
this
been to any meetings?
So I've been advised internally,
Oh, come on.
not really at liberty to discuss it
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
sure, okay. All right.
But I
You've
have
been
to say,
advised, yeah.
yeah,
You've not been, even though the mayor serves on the board of the library, you haven't been to any of the meetings.
so that is correct. I do serve in that capacity. as
Then
a
how do
appointed
you
member.
know how the board runs and who would be appropriate and who wouldn't?
Well, Commissioner Bowder, I could ask you the same thing on my last appointment that got turned down.
Of course.
It wasn't just that appointment. Another one of the ladies was also turned down.
Well,
during
that's
that time
because
as well.
you nominated them both together. I support Melissa Davis and Becky Kellogg, who have served on the board and are highly qualified.
Well, last time we brought this up, and I asked everybody why they didn't want to move forward on an appointment. Some offered some feedback, and I know Commissioner Wilson, you offered some feedback, and I appreciate that. At the time, it was stated that, okay, seems more of like a political appointment. And so, it's like, okay, take that into consideration. Last year, there was a mayor appointment that anybody could argue was also a political appointment because that person had served in a public capacity before, in public office. So, because I moved forward with somebody that had to run for office, it was looked at as political. It's like, okay. So, the next step, for an appointment, and for any
That wasn't my
appointment-
concern. My concern was just the most qualified people. The most qualified people, and they are the most qualified people.
And just to add to that, the only
Go ahead,
question
go
that I
ahead.
would ask you is when you nominate individuals, the individuals that you're nominating, do they have a connection with the library? Do they know the board members?
Do they have a library card?
Yeah, because I don't know the individual. That's why I was wishing he was here so I can actually ask him questions and to see what connection that he has. Is he in support of the library? What is his reason for actually wanting to join the board? I know Miss Rebecca Kellogg, she's actually been
of appointment when this happened. We kind of did a little bit more of an extra dive into the process this year. And we did come upon a Kansas statute that's frankly fairly not known very well, but gained a little bit of notoriety recently in a neighboring city in Johnson County. And I just do want to kind of lay how this works out, what the
Yeah,
statute
please.
is. Just I say this in the context because I know there are 4 people tonight, and so I started thinking tie votes or whatever. So that's what triggers my mind.
Sure thing.
I just want to remind the body that there's a Kansas statute, KSA 12-16, 128, that does say that in those instances where the mayor makes an appointment or has an appointment, the governing body must act upon that within 45 days of the appointment. So, for example, the appointment would be made today. I want to put that calendar date out there that, whether it's at this meeting or another, it has to be acted upon one way or another within 45 days. If it is not acted upon, then it is deemed approved. There's another important part of that statute. The governing body of, and I'm going to quote this, "The governing body of the city shall approve such appointment unless the governing body makes a specific finding by the passage of a resolution that the person is either unqualified to hold the office or is not fit to hold the office or position." So I do need to just make you aware of that statute, not counting votes wherever you go, but 45 days is when you would have the time to act, and should there be a question as to non-appointment, Sarah and I have worked together and have drafted a resolution. There'd have to be a resolution that you make a specific finding of not being qualified.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Waters, I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Doesn't that require that we have something that says, here are the actual requirements?
There's Attorney General opinion that says such a resolution does not have to specify the bases for you making that determination. You just have to actually have a resolution passed that makes that determination.
And so we'd have to point out why he's not qualified.
You would not have to. The resolution that we would prepare or have just basically quotes the language from the statute. If it was a no vote, the city commission would have to pass a resolution saying we decline the appointment because we hereby make a finding of disqualification or unfit to serve in the office.
Okay.
The resolution does not have to give reasons or anything like that.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. We'll probably might have some more questions for you, Mr. Waters. I guess that would be my question. First of all, this is obviously one of many appointments I've made in my term. And none of my appointments have actually been challenged, except for
No,
the
they've all
library
been rubber
board.
stamped, though there've been people
Yeah.
who've already been on there.
That's not the case for every board appointment this year. There've
Well, I
been
know,
new.
for me, I'm not gonna support an individual who bashes the library. I want to support individuals who's willing to work with board members, that has a connection. And they don't necessarily have to agree with the board, but you have to be willing to work with individuals. That's why I don't support individuals that speak against the library.
So I would, excuse me, and I appreciate the feedback. I do wish we'd have more back and forth like this while we're up here. I know Mr. Kitchens sent out an email today, there was an inquiry about the application, and I think probably for qualifications. It's probably one of the reasons, or I don't know why. But I don't know if everybody got a chance to look at that or not. Was there anything on the application that was, that you find fault in anything?
No, I didn't see
Yeah,
anything.
not the same.
Okay.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I was surprised at how highly educated he is. Multiple degrees.
So overall,
And
I
he's-
don't know him.
And he's not serving in any political position whatsoever. So it cannot be a matter of-
None that was called out.
So
Yeah.
it's just good to know the person, you know what I mean? And what connection that he has with the library. Like, has he even been to the library? And does he know any of the board members? I just think that's important. And
Yeah.
especially as commissioners, we represent the entire community, and we want to make sure that individuals that we are appointing to the board, that they do have some type of connection.
Well, and I appreciate that too, and please, Commissioner Wilson, please, you know me, I appreciate the comments and everything. And I have to speak from my own experience, being voted into office. I had no prior connection with the city. And voters wanted a fresh perspective. And that's what I offer in this appointment. Again, not saying anything negative on anybody that's already serving, but a fresh appointment is just that. If we didn't need to go through that process, we wouldn't need to have any appointments.
But you're able to show up and speak to that. But you're able to show up and speak to that. That's why, like I said, I'm not completely opposed to this individual. I would just like to know who this individual is and ask him questions.
You'd like to vet it out first, okay. So if we can hold that thought real quick. Mr. Waters, do we set a precedent on vetting individuals that get appointed to a board? Because I understand what Commissioner Wilson is saying. I don't disagree with that. Obviously, Supreme Court nominees go through vetting, but what do we do here at the city level?
Law on this. I mean, The appointment is the prerogative of the mayor, subject to governing body consent. So, that is a result of the elections that you hold. Certain vote getters get this and move into mayor pro tem. The understanding presumably of the electorate is that by voting for this person, and when that person gets a higher number of votes, that person will eventually move into the seat of mayor. And it is the mayor's prerogative to make those appointments, again, subject to consent. What the Kansas legislature has determined by passage of this statute that that consent has to be, that approval has to be acted on within 45 days. And probably, I haven't dug through the legislative history, but reading through this, the underlying basis for this is that it is the mayor's prerogative, and therefore, in order to override that and to reject it, the governing body has to affirmatively pass a resolution saying this person is not qualified or is unfit to serve in the office.
Okay.
Not, so the standard is, and someone else would be better. Those determinations are left to the mayor.
Okay.
Table.
Well, I would just like to ask, and if we need to do another vote another time too, that's one thing, but I think everybody already agreed up here that there's nothing they found even in the application that says he's not qualified.
Well, I want to ask him a question. I still want to know what's his connection, what's his purpose. It's one thing to have a resume, but it's another thing to hear a person's why. What's his purpose behind it?
So you don't
Sure.
have to vote tonight.
Okay. Well, I would just.
That's what I'm asking.
No, I got you, and like I said, I respect that.
Just as a
It's
matter of
okay to-
procedure, we do have a motion and a second on the floor. If they wanted to withdraw that, that would be up to you two without objection of the council. But I do want to let you know there is a motion and a second on the floor at this time.
Okay. There's 4 of us here tonight, so, excuse me. I guess my question would be, I know obviously, Mayor Pro Tem Pittman will be in the mayoral capacity next year, and it's not my intention to kind of put everybody through a vetting process that, she brings to the table. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but I think we are maybe setting a bad precedent. I know, Mr. Waters, you said that's illegally right now, it's in play for the city. But are we gonna, based off of the board, are we gonna start being selective on when we wanna vet somebody and when we don't?
I just think it's wise for each individual that wants to serve on a board, that they come up during the city commission meeting. I'm not saying that should be law. I just think it's wise because it gives people an opportunity to see who they are, connect with them, and ask questions. I just think that's wise.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not, to be clear, and Mr. Waters, I don't know what we need to do to have a process like that, formal conversation with the applicant.
Any process is up to you, or frankly, again, it is the mayor's appointment. So it is to your discretion as to what involvement, what interviews you want to do, don't want to do, those types of things. That's up to the direction of the mayor.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So,
I wouldn't have any legal objection if you did no more. I wouldn't have any legal objection if you asked for, meetings or interviews or one-on-ones, it's subject to open meetings laws and things like that. Your process for vetting, I wouldn't have a legal objection on either extreme, probably.
okay. Is it important that we document non-qualified qualifications or anything like that?
That's up to you. The law doesn't require that. If that's the motion, the law does not require that. That can certainly be, some of that can be recorded in minutes if somebody wants to speak to that. I would generally, again, we're making assumptions here that that's the direction.
Yeah, I don't want to make any assumptions
I don't
yet.
think it's a very good look to put a whole lot of stuff into a resolution of the commission as to that, when all the statute requires is just a specific finding.
Right. Well, and again, my last library appointment, nobody asked to vet that candidate.
That
And
candidate
so
showed up.
that's all we needed, was just a
But he actually showed up.
a 2-minute conversation.
But he was able to show up. He spoke to what he believed his why was, why he would help support the benefit. We disagreed with that candidate for other reasons.
Okay. Well, I won't go there tonight for the other candidate, but,
I mean, I think tonight starts your 45-day clock, if you should decide to table this. The appointment has been published for tonight, so I think tonight starts the 45-day clock in which you have to act.
okay. We'll probably, I would imagine, put this on another meeting, but I would like to proceed with a vote. So I do not believe we need to have exceptions here and there for things that don't necessarily make sense. I understand, but again, on the basis and with what Mr. Waters had pointed out tonight, nobody has any grounds immediately for saying he's not qualified.
Oh, no,
If
no.
there
no.
was something.
And I'm not saying that. And so the only thing that I was asking and hoping for, that I was able to ask him questions.
Yeah, I could have reached out to the
That's it.
candidate to come tonight.
And then also, like, and I just encourage you, reach out to the current board members. Build a relationship with them, learn them, ask
You
their
don't even
why,
know.
their purpose.
You don't even know 'em.
Like, I just really, really encourage you to take that next step. So when you are making the appointments, you know where you're able to, from your perspective, where you can put in the missing pieces that you feel like that's needed there. That's the only thing that I'm asking you.
No, I got you. I don't feel like we need to be selective on when we do that, and when we
No,
don't
I'm
do
just
that. Because I don't feel like
encouraging
there's
you to do that.
any process for that today.
No, and I got you. I'm just encouraging you to connect with the current board members, establish their relationship, learn them, and this is for anybody who's sitting in the mayor's seat. Learn the people that's currently serving on the board. And then the person that you're nominating, ask them to reach out, connect with the current board members, build a relationship so the current board members can learn who they are. That's the only thing I'm asking.
No, and I hear you. I think, getting back to what Mr. Waters has said, being in the capacity of the mayor, my prerogative to make the decision I'm going to make and the way I'm going to make it, just like you all would, and the decisions you all make. And, we don't always agree on everything. Sounds like we don't agree on this tonight.
We all have an equal vote, though. It's not just the mayor.
It's, well, we do have an equal vote. And so I just think process is important in making sure that we're not just selective, like I said, when maybe something doesn't make sense. I think, it's good to have a fresh perspective on a board. That's very healthy. It's healthy for a corporate organization. It's healthy for our city. We're getting ready to go through that with our next manager that comes in. And, in life, it's not a bad thing. So I think, like you said, the motion's been seconded for tonight.
So you can either call for the vote, and we'll address what, if anything, happens. If I'm reading between the lines, if you didn't want to have the vote tonight but wanted to wait, then I'd recommend that the record reflect that you withdrew just the motion tonight or to table the matter to the next city council meeting at that point, but that the appointment is still being effective as of today. That starts that 45-day clock.
Okay.
So, if the county committee wanted to say without objection or something like that, I think that could be reflected in the record, but I'll defer to you.
Sure.
It's your motion.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm just gonna ask that you wait, bring it to the next meeting. I just wanna ask questions, or if I need to call him after this, I'll be more than happy to reach out to him and just talk to him myself.
Okay.
So I just ask that you withdraw until next time.
Me too.
No, I appreciate that. On this, I will tell you, I do feel like in this capacity, and I've been torn on decisions, if I do not stick to conscience in my capacity, I'm not serving anybody in the city. You also wouldn't respect me for that. So with that, I am going to go ahead. If there's, Ed, do you have any other comments at all, or?
No, I know the guy personally. I know he would work hard to do well, and to support the library. I know him personally already, because he lives in my neighborhood.
Okay.
He and his wife live in my neighborhood. So, and I know he's got the time to put in the service. He's recently retired from the Army. So he's got the time that he can put in to do the work, and he's also always struck me as the type, if he's given a job to do, end of story, he's doing it. And he's not going to slack off on it. I can tell you that about him.
Well, it's good feedback. I appreciate everybody's feedback.
Got any questions? Good.
Mr. Waters and Mr. Kitchens, I feel like if I withdraw from a vote tonight, I'm not sure of my decision, and I am sure. I made the appointment. So I do think Mr. Redmond would be a good candidate, and again, fresh perspective. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and proceed with the vote, starting with Commissioner Bowder.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, what I have tonight is, I think that this is a no action taken vote. I don't think it's probably worthwhile to, because this was not an approval, but this is also not a rejection, because again, the statute requires the passage of a resolution on that. And I imagine if we presented that to you tonight, that would be a 2-2 vote as well, and we'd be stuck in limbo. So I think this is a
It
no
would be,
action
probably.
being taken. You still have 45 days starting from tonight for action to be taken, and this can come up at a future city council meeting again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and I just want to
I
add to
appreciate
that, I will be reaching out to him tomorrow to schedule a time just to be able to have
Thank
a
you.
conversation with
I
him.
appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you, Mr.
So
Waters.
this is not a no or a yes tonight, is how we're going to treat this. This is a no action taken.
Okay. And I just want to say, if everybody listening, and to my commission on up here, I appreciate having conversations like this. If we don't rubber stamp everything, that is very healthy. And, maybe this can start something fresh on process for appointees. Just because there's no law in place doesn't mean we don't have to have a process in place. So, okay, well, thank you for everybody weighing in. Mr. Waters, thank you for your feedback as well. We'll move on to item 4, consider updates to city fee schedule.
All right. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, tonight for your consideration are updates to the city fee schedule regarding Parks and Rec fees. From time to time, city staff will bring updates to the fee schedule, which is adopted by the City Commission. Discussions regarding updating the Parks and Rec section of the fee schedule to increase revenues and help offset operational costs began in 2023. Some direction received from discussions with the commission included to not go overboard with the increases, but to also be aggressive enough so that we're not back here in 2 to 3 years raising fees again. Additionally, there was general consensus to avoid raising fees associated with youth activities, and as such, you will not see a recommendation to raise any of our fees for youth sports programs.
Good.
Also, per those discussions as well, fees associated with non-residents were done more aggressively in the fee schedule. It is also important to note that all of these are user fees, therefore they do not affect the taxpayers of the city of Leavenworth. The updates are hereby presented to the commission for the fee schedule with an effective date of January 1, 2025. And if you have any specific questions to the fee schedule that was in your policy report in the agenda packet, Parks and Rec Director Steve Grant and Finance Director Roberta Beyer are here for those specific questions, but we are looking for approval of that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I looked through these and I thought they looked reasonable. And we're still, we are pretty inexpensive compared to other cities around us. I knew that, and I keep hearing that from some of the users here that use these facilities. How long it had been since we had raised the fees before? Do you have any idea?
20 plus years, I think, is the
said
number we were
20?
going. Yes,
20 years?
it's been a long time.
So these were expensive
Mr.
20 years
Grant.
ago then, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Good evening, I'll try and answer some of those questions. I've been here 22 and a half, going on 22 and a half years.
Okay.
Our park shelter fees when I started here were $25 for a full day session. Our park shelter fees today are $25 for a full session.
Okay.
A lot of these has not changed at all in my tenure here. We provide phenomenal facilities, and we do continue to be the best deal in town, including even after moderate user fee increases. I think it makes a lot of sense.
And we do try to keep it low for our residents so that they'll have a place to go and, be a reasonable, so anybody can attend these,
Absolutely, and we've,
sessions
as you
and
all
stuff.
well know, we've added some things out there, that are free, like the splash pad and all of the new amenities at Stubby Park and stuff like that. So a lot of good things going on throughout our park and rec system.
Thank you.
Sure.
No, I appreciate that, Mr. Grant. I think we talked about that when we took the survey that you got together. Some people are offering, can we pay more so we don't lose anything?
So we don't lose anything.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's time, sorry. And we're going to say something.
Somebody asked me, and I don't see it here, if it was possible to, quote, rent one of the new pickleball courts for a certain period of time, you know? No, I'm renting this for 2 hours, I get to play here for 2 hours.
So, under the field and court rentals, the very first section on these, it is something that's new. It's added, the pickleball rentals. They're available
I didn't see it.
Yep.
for $15 a court, and we have set a 4-hour minimum on that. Administratively, it'd be very difficult if we have somebody renting every.
Yeah, that'd be a hassle, yeah.
We have already had a group come in and rent 6 courts for 4 hours for a fundraiser they're doing next April.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things are going very well out there.
That's exciting.
And so I have to admit, like I played pickleball last week with my son. We were out there about 9:30. It was a group of teenagers just having a ball. So they were there after we left, and hey man, it's amazing. So if you never played pickleball, play pickleball. I encourage y'all. That's the sport.
And the basketball court there too. It's
yeah,
amazing
love it,
how much
love
that's
it.
getting you. So we're so happy with the way that all turned out for
No, that's great.
citizens and everything.
That's great.
That's great.
My only question would be, just to double check, think this is the right schedule? You feel like, you guys know I'm a proponent of not raising fees regularly. If we're going to, let's do it, you know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
Even the users are talking about it, you know, I mean, this is so cheap here.
Oh, yeah.
We
Oh, yeah.
would be willing to pay more if we could make sure that it's kept.
oh, 100%.
Yeah, and myself, and to answer your question there, myself and as well as my entire staff, you know, I have aquatics, you know, and recreation, community center, and of course parks and rec. My entire administrative staff went to like municipalities and we saw what are everybody else, what's everybody else charging, and first of all, how do we compare our municipality to them?
Sure.
How does our amenity or our structure or whatever compare to them? Because everything's a little bit different. And from that, why this has been quite a long process between us forming those types of recommendations, and then sitting down with the finance team with Roberta and Andrew saying, hey, here's what we're looking at, what do you think? What we have here is our best recommendation to you,
Perfect.
government
No,
body.
figured it was, but,
Yeah,
yeah, I
sure.
just want to double check, so.
Yeah, no,
okay.
and kudos to all of my staff, because they did do a lot of legwork into checking with, you know, whether it be swim team fees or it's
Thanks,
all
Brian.
over the place. Yeah.
Cool, okay. Well, I have no other questions. Anybody else? If not, just need a motion.
I move to approve the amendments to the fee schedule as presented to be effective January 1, 2025.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Gila.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. Motion passed 4-0.
I need to get my punch card. Price goes up.
Now,
2 years in advance.
I'm about out anyway.
All right, resolutions. Item 5, Excel Development Senior Housing Fee Waiver Request.
Mayor and Commission, the item before you tonight came before the Commission in December of 2023. At the time, the City Commission approved industrial revenue bonds for sales tax and a fee waiver letter up to $40,000. You recall this is an $8.5 million affordable senior project just north of Walmart. While the project was requested for low-income housing tax credits through the state KHRC, they notified us that due to them missing some points for not meeting the $40,000 fee waiver threshold, they did not receive the tax credits for this round, but they are optimistic that if they were to receive the $40,000 fee waiver from the city, that they would score well in the next round coming up in 2025. So there's a lot of interest right now in affordable housing, senior affordable housing and others, due to the low-income housing tax credits that's provided by the Kansas Housing Resources Commission. So that's part of the lens that we view these projects with. It has to make sense for the city of Leavenworth, but it also is acknowledging what they're looking for to make their application the most competitive. So Excel has requested a fee waiver letter in the amount of $40,000. So in essence, the last letter was approved by the commission was for $39,999. They're requesting a fee waiver letter that says $40,000.
Okay.
So staff did review the fees that are likely for that project and recommends approval to update the language to make that $40,000. We believe that can be done without an undue financial burden to the city, and this project does fit under both the city's economic development policy and the comprehensive plan for land use and for future growth. So with that, I'm available to answer any questions you might have on an updated fee waiver letter.
Well, I've got one question real quick, and you may not know this, Penny, so that's okay, but why? Why was there an issue with $1 on a massive project like this?
So I wasn't involved in the development of the fee waiver letter. Previous city manager Paul Kramer was the primary contact. As a general rule, cities never say this. We have, I would say, relatively reasonable development costs. So we had some concern, from what I understand, that we would be able to meet that threshold based on the fees that we charge. So it was out of caution that we said up to $40,000 because we were concerned we wouldn't meet that level. Going back and working with Public Works, worked with Public Works Director Brian Faust and Deputy Director Mike Stephen, we kind of did more of a in-depth analysis and found that there would be enough in administrative fees that would they need for the project. And so really it's a reduction of the administrative fees. The other option for some other projects, and this is something that the commission is likely to face in the near future, additional fees that the city charges are for the development of hard infrastructure costs. So if we extend sanitary sewer lines, the city actually incurs those costs and then charges it back to the developer. Staff really wouldn't generally recommend a waiver of those type of fees.
Right.
So what we're recommending is on permits, which is more administrative type fees.
Okay, thank you. It just sends a flag to me when I'm like, okay, why is that a concern? You know? Yeah.
Because the state said no. Up to 40,000 isn't 40,000.
That's exactly it.
Any questions or comments, or?
No?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I have no questions.
Okay, yeah, I don't either, just need a motion then.
I move to approve Resolution B 2383, resolution of support.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 Okay,
Great, thank you.
motion passed 5-0. Okay. Do we need to make two motions on that? It looks like actually we
no,
did.
I was-
I would say yes.
Sorry, yeah.
Sorry,
Also
yeah.
need to approve the fee of that.
Yeah, you can approve the fee waiver letter as well.
Okay, all
I
right.
move approval of the fee waiver letter.
Yeah, and second.
Thank you, Nancy. Okay, motion's been seconded, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Hingela.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 4-0. Bids, contracts, and agreements. Item 6, consider approval to purchase self-contained breathing apparatus for fire department. All right, Chief?
Commissioner Wilson, could you join me up front here?
Oh, yes, sir. You need my height? I got you.
Just make it aware. Law big glass, what's an SCBA, so what are you trying to put?
He wants to grab the.
It's not very.
See, this is a good lead up to the sales cycle, man.
No, wait, it's not as bad when you strap that. Mayor and commissioners, I wanted to kind of display it. People are always asking about this. We come before you tonight to ask for approval to purchase 33 new SCBAs. This is the harness. This here's the bottle in the back. This is currently we have a 60-minute bottle. We're going to drop to a 45-minute bottle. I grew up on a 30-minute bottle. Times have changed on the safety standards, and NFPA sets safety standards, and it's about every 3 years. We purchased SCBAs 11 years ago. In fact, when I've got 11 years this month here, and that's when they were purchasing. We figured then about
Doing a good job,
7 years.
Jermaine.
There's been quite a few upgrades and changes to safety. The audio alarm goes off a little sooner. There's a voice application, because a lot of times we get a mask on. you can't hear real well, someone's talking on the radio, so there's a voice amplification, just several things that they have that upgraded it. And with this here, I would say that the SCBA, coupled with the turnout gear, the coat and the bunker pants, is the most important piece of equipment that we have in the fire service. It protects you from any toxic gases, smoke, even in confined space where there's lack of oxygen and stuff. Without this, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do going inside a building. Anyway, yes. So anyway, so we currently have Scott, and there's several manufacturers, but the two big ones is MSA and Scott. And MSA made a lot of changes, and they come and did, so we opened up, had a demo, come and do a demo for us, and had a small committee, and the guys really liked the MSAs, some of the features they have over the Scott, which, so we'd be making a change. MSA approached me in September and said, hey, we've got a sale coming, basically one bottle, get one bottle for free and some other things, but you have to do it in October. And so we pursued it. I felt obligated to let Scott know we're looking at another one, so he wanted to say, well, we got features too. But when we looked at the two, compared the two, there's really almost unanimous that this is the pack that the guys want to go with, so it's making a change from what we currently have. Meets all the standards. I asked them to quote off the HGAC consortium. It's kind of like Sourcewell and stuff. It's already been public bid and stuff out there. And so they did, and in fact, I got several from one of the Scott, when they found out that we was talking to another manufacturer, the price started coming down on that too, which was another concern I had. But anyway, before tonight, to purchase 33 of these, 66 bottles, because you need a spare bottle for each one, and 60 face pieces. This is what we're asking for tonight. In fact, I looked 11 years ago when we purchased about the same number. It was about half the price it is today, 11 years ago. So anyway, we're before you tonight. That staff recommends accepting the Conrad Fire quote, which Conrad's located in Olathe, Kansas. They're the dealer for MSA, and utilizing the HGAC purchasing consortium for $301,257.89. And the finance director's here, I'll pass any questions to her, but I approached her about, we needed to kind of do this now because it's a cheaper price. And sometimes you don't know if that's the sales thing or what, but so we did have funds in the amount of $345,000 budgeted to replace these in 2025 CIP. I know you work out, but I don't want you to pass out.
Good job, Jermaine.
So anyway, I talked to her about that. There's several ways that they can do it, and then I let her speak on it. Any questions? We just pass it, do a PO so we can get these things ordered while we're still in this window, or however she does it financially, goes ahead and pays for it. That's her expertise there. So we're just asking for approval to move forward with this purchase now.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. Thank you for the real-world example there. Any questions, anybody?
It's in the budget.
It's good.
Yep.
Kept below the budget,
Cool deal.
below the CIP.
I move that we accept the Conrad Fire Equipment quote utilizing the HGAC purchasing consortium for not to exceed $301,000, $301,257.89.
Second.
Okay, motion been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 All right, 4-0 pass. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, item 7, consider approval of change order number 1 for Municipal Service Center PD Storage Building. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Look at a couple of pictures here. The item this evening is to consider approval of change order number 1 related to the construction of the Service Center PD building at 790 Thornton Street. Back in 2002, the city budgeted $150,000 in the 2023 CIP for construction of a storage facility to be constructed at the service center. That would be used by both the police department and the service center. After discussing the project with Sourcewell and a local contractor approved for cooperative purchasing, it became clear that the funding was not sufficient to build the structure that we needed. In 2023, the city updated the CIP for 2024 to include $300,000 for the construction of this building. In order to save construction costs, Becky, our Assistant Operations Superintendent, was tasked to act as a general contractor and coordinated all needed subs instead of hiring one firm to do all the work. And city staff did construct the pad site for the building and relocated conflicting utilities. The building was constructed by QSI for a cost of $71,730. The low bid for the concrete was submitted by Weaver Construction for $43,494. The floor consisted of a 6-inch thick portion for specialty police vehicles and a 4-inch section for service center equipment. Once the building was constructed, staff determined that the loaded salt trucks for winter could actually fit inside the structure. And while equipment like pothole patching and crack sealers would have been fine on a 4-inch slab, loaded dump trucks would likely cause premature failure of the 4-inch slab. In addition, if we do park the trucks in there will be snow melt. And so we wanted to make sure that we installed a floor drain to get that salt away from the floor. Staff reached out to Weaver and asked for a cost to increase the slab thickness and install both a road-rated floor drainage system and a concrete approach. The cost for these upgrades is $40,933.60. I did provide a summary of where we were as far as construction. And on the right side, the total estimated engineering cost with a 10% contingency on top of all this is $226,157. The budget is $300,000. The staff does request that the commission approve contract change order 1 with Weaver in the amount of $40,933.60. And myself and Becky are here this evening to answer any questions you may have. I do want to show you the inside of the building. Give you a view of what it looks like on the inside. So it's an amazing structure that we'll be able to store a lot of our equipment in.
Great.
That is good.
Wide open, so it's flexible too. Good job, Becky.
As a task.
I'm sure.
She did a tremendous amount of work on this. And
I
it's
bet,
really a great
getting all
project.
those bids, that's great.
Cool. No, that's great. Thank you. Just some questions I had real quick, and Brian, you may have already hit this and I missed it. The electrical work estimates, those are just kind of like some ballparks initially. Is that kind of what that was? Or
We actually had a quote for just a little over $27,000 to do the electrical work, but we just put $30,000 in.
Gotcha.
And it'll be that we show a wall in there. There's actually be a separation wall constructed between the police department and the service center to keep the equipment separate, so that's the reason for the wall.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, good job, Becky.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're glad that's a little bit over with.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments?
No, sir.
Show us the next picture.
I'm sorry?
Show us the third picture.
I don't, did I have a third picture up there?
You had 3.
Oh,
It's just-
that's just a
the
smaller
same
one
thing.
of the,
Same thing.
and the rumors that we contacted the chiefs and used this for an indoor training facility is not true.
All right, well, appreciate that. I just need a motion then.
I move that the commission approve contract change order number 1 with Weaver Construction in the amount not to exceed $40,933.60.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 4-0. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move over to item 8, consider approval of the design build amendment for construction of Parks and Recreation Administrative Services, or offices, sorry.
Mayor, Commissioners, good evening once again. The issue before you is to consider approval of the design build amendment for the, with Sands Construction Company for the construction of Parks and Recreation Administrative Offices at the Riverfront Community Center. These will go into the south wing portion of the facility. A little bit of background, the 2023 Capital Improvement Program allocated funds for this project. In March of 2023, we solicited requests for qualification from the design build teams. And at the October 10th, 2023 commission meeting, the city commission approved for city staff to enter into a design build contract with Sands Construction Company. So since that time, since the approval of the commission that day, we've been meeting with Sands Construction on construction as well as their design team, working towards a budgetary figure. There was $385,000 in the CIP for this project. We started a little high with our wants, and then obviously cut back to what we could do. So we ended up with a final construction cost, which is what we're asking the city commission to consider for approval tonight for the design build amendment in the amount of $384,923, and that is the total cost not to exceed, and that includes the design as well as all the construction costs. With that, I just Brian put together a little PowerPoint. We're pretty excited to give us a storefront for our great department. So I'll turn it over to Brian.
Yeah. So you all been to the community center, and you know the main entrance into the community center. There's a ramp just to the south of that, and that's going to be the new entrance into the Parks and Rec offices. So right here you see the sign that we have for the new Parks and Rec offices. That way everybody knows coming off the street where they need to go into the Parks and Rec offices. This is going to be the layout for the Parks and Rec offices in the south wing. When you come up the ramp, you'll come through this door. The two restrooms are still in the same place. They will be remodeled. You'll also come into the waiting area, the foyer, with some chairs, and then you'll immediately look to the front desk. Here will be the service window for our administrative clerk and her office. And that's where you'll do a lot of our Parks and Rec business for our activities and so forth. From there, we have a door that will have a key fob, so you'll have to be let in to come down to the offices and to get access. This little area here is going to be a copy room / supply room and so forth. This is a utility room. Nothing's really happening in this room. This is where the electrical panels are. We have washers and dryers in there for our tablecloths and stuff that happen further within the building. So nothing will really happen. You'll come further down the hallway. This side over here, which is going to be the east side, faces the river, is going to be our community center manager's room office. It's going to be a little bit bigger office. She is always meeting with people looking to rent the community center, writing contracts and so forth. So her office is going to be a little bit bigger so she can do that and meet with clients and so forth. Across from her office is going to be a break room, just a simple break room, refrigerator, trash and recycling compartments, sink, and then across over here will be a microwave with a table on each side of it. You'll come further down the office, and we have these two offices. These two offices are going to be for our rec superintendent, or our rec supervisor, and our aquatic / special event supervisor. So they have offices to work out of here, and then across from there is going to be our conference room, where we can hold small meetings, small staff meetings. A lot of times we have one-on-one meetings with contractors and stuff where we don't need a huge room, but we do need some place to meet. And within this conference room, there'll be monitors so we can pull things up on the screen like this.
Cool.
Down the hall from here, you'll have the director's office, where he has they have a nice table to meet with staff, and other people as well. Across from that is the deputy director's office, and then out through here is the exit to the offices if the people would like staff to enter and exit through there. So here's a look into the foyer when you come into the offices. It's kind of what it'll look like. It's the best grass in town. We don't have to water it, we don't have to fertilize it, and we don't have to cut it. So, so that's what that looks like. Here's where the window is to help staff or help, the community when they come into our offices. This is what the conference room will look like. We're going to reuse some of the doors that are currently in the building. There will be sliding barn doors, and it just kind of helps with the aesthetics of that area and keeping with the tradition of that building. Here's another look with inside the conference room. This is what the break room will look like. And that's what we have for you. So, we're a first city in Kansas, we're a first class city, and this is really gonna bring the Parks and Recs up to the first class as well. So, we're
Guys,
excited about it.
When I look at what you have now, this is just like huge.
Yeah,
We're pretty excited.
You're pretty cramped, and of course Tammy has to meet in one of the meeting rooms upstairs. That's great, this is great.
We're pretty excited. We think it's just gonna be so much better serving the public.
It is.
And having a face that's not an afterthought down in the basement,
It is, yeah.
Being literally a storefront. Any questions on the layout before I just go on to the basic financials of the costs and the contract and everything?
It just looks like so much more accessible than what you have now for people. Yeah,
it looks nice.
So,
Not so much the layout of it there, but what are you gonna do with what's laid out downstairs now?
So that'll become the main headquarters for our maintenance, for the building maintenance. Currently, they work, all of them, the two full-timers and all the call-ins work out of one office in this area. So that'll give our maintenance supervisor his own office, as well as his full-timer their own office. And then all of our call-in and temps can share an office, and that'll still give us 1 or 2 spaces for a little bit of extra storage, which we're in desperate need of. Huge building, we're still in desperate need of a lot of storage, so that's the plan for that.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions on the layout?
no.
I love it.
No, and I'm sorry again, Steve, just main driver, you said, for the overage there. Was it dialed in on any one thing, or was it just?
So what you'll be approved, or what we're requesting you approve is just for the design build amendment, which, like I said, we had $385,000 in the CIP. We did spend a little bit of that, a little over $1,300 when I was first putting this out for design bid consideration. So that number that's in the CIP is a little bit less. In addition to what we're asking for you to approve tonight, we are looking to spend upwards close to $48,000 for new office furniture for all of these offices, as well as the conference table or the conference room. All of that plus the small overage in the CIP. There's sufficient reserves in the CIP sales tax fund to cover all those additional costs. What staff is recommending this evening is for the city commission to approve just the design build amendment that is attached between the city and Sands Construction Company. And that's at a guaranteed maximum price of $384,923 as defined in that amendment.
Okay.
And to authorize the mayor to sign that agreement.
Okay. Thank you for that, appreciate it.
Yeah, I wanted to put it made it a little convoluted, I know, put it in that extra, but I wanted to make you aware that we're not taking our old furniture and putting it back up there that's been in there since the 80s.
No, I got you.
It's pretty bad, yeah, it's pretty old.
Wow, 40-something years old. Yeah, okay. Thank you. No other questions right now, but go ahead. Did you have anything else then, or is that?
No, just that's our recommendation.
Okay.
To authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with Sands Construction at a maximum price of $384,923.
Okay, cool deal. Well, thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Brian, thanks. Just need a motion, everyone.
I move approval of the amendment between the city and Sands Construction Company at the guaranteed maximum price not to exceed $384,923, defined in the amendment, and to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Second.
All right, the motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 4-0. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving. No problem.
This next item is me.
Okay.
I'm going to take my city manager hat off and put my police chief hat back on.
All right.
In advance of the last 7 days.
You can't do that.
You can't do this.
County, y'all. Mr. Mayor and Commission, the police department is requesting the city commission place an ordinance on first consideration that modifies chapter 44, section 87, no parking anytime. About a month and a half ago, I got a request from the director of EMS, Jamie Miller, in support of restricting parking in that neighborhood. That was also a separate request, or in addition to that, a request from Sister Diane Steele from St. Mary University about parking issues along that location. So the parking change, let me start at the beginning. I'm generally very reluctant to change and restrict parking in an area that's been that way for a very long time, unless there is a precipice for that change or a reason for that change, and people get a little sensitive about that. So there's two things that happened, one of which is, you might recall that St. Mary's did some expansion on the campus out there, and they've added 84 parking spaces in a new parking lot right there. And so that was specifically designed to make more parking on campus for students. And the cars that are generally parked on this particular location are the students from St. Mary's. And so that's been solved. We also had sort of medium level event, an EMS traveling from 10th and Eisenhower, the station there, traveling along that road, struck a parked car because it's a little narrow on both sides of the roadway. So those two things have convinced me that I think it's an opportune time now to go ahead and do that. So I'd be asking for restricting parking on the east side of Hughes Road from McDonald Road to Muncie Road. That still leaves the west side open. There are folks that live there. All of those houses have off-street parking with driveways, but they'd still be able to park on the street if necessary. So just on the east side, on the campus side. So that's the
Adjacent to the
recommendation
campus,
tonight.
yeah. Got it.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It is very narrow, and I know I travel out there a lot, and there's a lot of cars there. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
So if there's consensus.
Yeah, we're all good?
Yes.
Okay, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, from there, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Move that we approve the claims for October 4th, 2024 through October 17th, 2024 in the amount of $1,373,870.76. Net amount for payroll number 20 effective October 4th, 2024 in the amount of $400,096.54. No police or fire pension.
Second.
Okay, motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 4-0. And with that, we'll go around the table.
Just two things tonight, Mr. Mayor, Commission. A reminder, the 2024 Business Symposium will occur Monday, October the 28th from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Community Center. It's a great lineup of presenters and small business for small businesses and those considering opening a business. Registration is still available. Just visit the city's website and you can get signed up for that. So big crowd already we expect, so hope to see everybody there. And then finally, just a very brief reminder, the trunk or treat was this last Saturday out at Sportsfield Park. There was a little over 700 kids. Weather was perfect. It was a really, really great event. Scared the daylights out of a few people in our house, which is the goal of all of that. So thank you.
Thank you. All right.
This goes back a little ways. I guess back when we held Leavenworth, what did we call it? The Leavenworth.
Camp Leavenworth?
Camp Leavenworth. Thank you. I'm trying to think. Fun Fest? No, that was over in.
Okay.
And we had a 5K run there, and you know, I I got up there and they asked me to MC it, and I thanked all kinds of folks. And I failed to thank Christine Fritchen. I failed to thank her publicly. And I want to just apologize for that, for not thanking her. I hope you're watching. And while I apologize, I also want to say thank you so much for all the effort that it took to put that on. I think it was a huge success. Lots of people really enjoyed participating in it, including our own mayor, I think.
No, I pulled
You
out
didn't
this time.
call that.
But thank you for your thanks.
Man.
No, I did not run.
Thank you, Christine. I appreciate it. Please do it again next year.
Awesome. Thank you.
I just wanted to say this evening, before we met, we had a dedication of the America 250 Patriots marker dedication for 250 years. Since our Patriots saved us from England. And I read a lot of history books lately, and my husband has a lot of history books, and there's several of them about our country's founding, and how just a small group of people came together that, against an army that was supposedly the best in the world at that time, against England, and were able to get our freedom. So if you have a chance to come in and check out the new plaque, please do. It's a great dedication, and it was put on by the Captain Jesse Leavenworth chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and you saw them here earlier tonight. They do a lot of stuff in our community. Thank you.
Yep, the only thing I wanted to say, early voting has started. Get out and vote. God bless and have a great week.
All right, thank you. Yeah, God bless. We'll see everybody next time. With that, I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
All right.
Second, yeah.
Aye. All right.